The North Florida Sports Network.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. It's the North Florida Sports Network. I have the pleasure to be joined by the voice of the Seminoles, the director of broadcasting at Florida State, Jeff Culhane, joins the program. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Austin, all is well. Great to talk to you. And yeah, man, we're heading towards Memorial Day weekend as you and I talk, and summertime, and we're all good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I know you did the softball game recently. Is that your most recent work? Correct.
Yes. Yeah, the Florida State Florida softball game, May 1st. You bet.
How about that? How about that team, man? They had a bunch of young girls on the team this year, right?
Sure did. Yeah, I tell you, Lonnie Alameda and her staff deserve a ton of credit for, you knew you were going to have to transition away from Kat Sandercock in the circle. She's one of the all-time greats here, and it's going to take a little time. And so you're relying on some young arms there, some returners as well. Obviously, the young gals like Jason E. Beecham and Issa Torres have been unbelievable this year, to say the least. Jason E. is going to be the National Freshman of the Year. She might win Player of the Year in college softball. I mean, she has just been outstanding. And Issa Torres had huge shoes to fill with Josie Muffley, moving on at shortstop, and she's been tremendous. And so this is a group that, as they head into a super regional versus Oklahoma, as we talk to you right now, they are a team that has really come together. They really finished the year strong, and I tell you, they can hit with anybody. If they get the bats going this week, it'll be very entertaining in Norman. There's no doubt.
I mean, there's no pressure. Go out there swinging. I mean, that's the giant of the sport is Oklahoma. And Florida State's been right there on their heels, if not right there with them in the past few years. I know you don't do the baseball games, but I know you're probably watching and a big fan of the baseball team. What do you think about the turnaround they've had this year?
Man, what a year. You knew it would happen. And I think even all of us were not shocked, but just certainly pleasantly surprised by what Link Jarrett and his entire staff and this team have done. They had some roster management things they had to get through, and they have done that and answered some questions in a big time way. I mean, to come off a season where you're in a transition year, we all know how 2023 went, and to come into this year and win your first 19 games to start the season, and then do what they've done with the injuries that they've had on the pitching mound is just phenomenal. And they've had some guys really step up. Jamie Arnold's been phenomenal on the mound. Young guys have stepped up throughout the year. Connor Whitaker is getting healthy and coming back. If we can get Cam Leiter back, that'd be massive as we head into postseason play following the ACC tournament. But this team offensively is as good as anybody. I mean, James Tibbs, Cam Smith, Jaime Ferrer, just to name a few, all these guys, Dingus, Cantu. I mean, these guys can swing it. And I thought Tibbs said it perfectly the other day following their win over Georgia Tech in Charlotte. He goes, we're a bunch of 3-hole hitters that are all throughout the lineup, sprinkled around. And I thought he hit it head on. And so if this group can pitch it as you get deeper into tournaments, past day 2 into day 3, if they can get some of these young guys to really settle in and step up offensively, this team can hang with anybody in the country, in my opinion.
Well, you're right about the lineup. I'm looking forward to watching it. I touched on what's going on right now in FSU sports, but it's not too long ago where you got your start here. But before that, you came from South Dakota State. And that's where you're from. Is that correct?
Well, I got to correct you.
Okay.
Because that's the rival. I came from North Dakota.
Oh, my gosh. I messed up the Dakotas, man.
So I'm not a jackrabbit.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm definitely a bison.
All right.
That's for darn sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
But you are correct. I grew up in South Dakota. It's all very confusing if you're not from there. It feels like one Dakota across the board. I get it. But yeah, I grew up in South Dakota, and my last stop was in Fargo, North Dakota, at North Dakota State. And man, it's a real special place. It's a special place, for me and my family. And we were part of some great great success there. I mean, 4 national championships for football while I was there.
Yeah.
Men's basketball, made the NCAA tournament twice. Baseball, won a game for a college baseball team in Fargo, North Dakota, who's on the road for the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
To be able to compete nationally.
Yeah, that.
And win a game in a regional, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
And so, not to mention the softball program there has had huge success. Track and field is really good. And so it really is a special place. And I'll tell you, I'm sure we'll talk about some of the other stops, but all my stops in my career have really, you go through things and you're not sure why they happen, but the reasons are there at some point. And, all the places I've been have helped me get to Tallahassee and be a part of the Seminole family over the last couple of years and head into year 3. And it's really fun to look back upon those experiences.
Man, you weren't kidding about the success. I mean, the talent that's come through that program, the Bison program. I know that's where Trey Lance went. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then Jordan who's the quarterback before him? Was it?
Well, he had a great run, and this was pre-transfer portal era. So it happened during a time where you could hang on to your rosters. It feels so weird to say that.
Yeah.
That's how quickly things have changed in college athletics.
Right.
But, starting back in 2009, 2010, North Dakota State was transitioning D2 to D1. When they became postseason eligible, they really started to take off, and they were right there anyway, even in the transition years. And so Brock Jensen, Carson Wentz, Easton Stick is Justin Herbert's backup with the Chargers right now and started some games to end the year. And of course, Trey Lance. I got a chance to call all 17 of his games during his time at Fargo as well. So some unbelievable names and just a special run. There's a lot of similarities, Austin, on a much smaller scale, of course, between Florida State and NDSU, if you can believe it. And
I can't believe that.
I appreciate my time there, and it's fun to talk to people about where I've been because they obviously, they kind of go, "Wow, all right, that's a place we've never been before," but we certainly know about the success and how those programs operate overall.
Well, as far as I didn't get the right Dakota, so that can tell you right there, I didn't have that one right, but you're from South Dakota.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Take me back. You're in South Dakota. When did the young Jeff Culhane know that, hey, I want to be a broadcaster. I want to do sports broadcasting. When did that hit you?
Yeah, sports are always really big in my life from an early age. Playing them, going to them. Knew I always wanted to be, involved somehow if I could. And my dad was as a side job. He was the business manager of our school district. Owned and operated a sports bar for multiple decades. But he also was the public address announcer for our high school and college teams in my hometown, and did some radio. And so when I was 5 years old, he was on the analyst on the high school boys basketball broadcast in our small town. And high school basketball was big for me, for everybody in our town growing up. A big sport. And so just from an early age, I kind of saw a radio booth and the equipment and thought it was pretty cool that these guys are at a game, talking about a game, for work. And there's a lot of little things along the way that add up to get me where I'm at right now. My first, job in broadcasting, I was a weekend part-time on-air person at an oldie station in my hometown at age 14.
Oh man.
And so, it started out there. I started doing sports in college, and it just kept building and building to where I decided I wanted to pursue it as a career. What
was your favorite? What was your best sport or favorite sport yourself?
I played football in college for 4 years. I played 1 year of baseball.
Okay.
I love basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball, as I mentioned, was a big deal in our town, and it's probably the sport I worked at the most and practiced the most. But football and baseball were my best sports for sure, without a doubt.
When it comes to Is there like take me? So you started early, 14. Do you ever still get nervous going on the air? I'm sure you do. I mean, it seems something like I mean, if I just had to guess, it seems like you love doing it, and this is something fun and for you to do, and you're almost like, wow, I get to do this. Is that correct?
No question. Yeah, there's no doubt. I wouldn't say I get nervous. I think there is a an excitement and anxiety, but it's not nerves. I'm not worried.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about doing a game or going on the air ever.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when you're in it and you know the magnitude of some of the opportunities that you have, there is a want to do it the right way every time you do it. And certainly for the biggest of games that mean more, there's a want to do it and create that moment that people will remember forever. Think of it like that. In the moment, you just do it.
Yeah.
You react and you respond and you prepare and get yourself ready to go. And but you're right. I love what I do. I'm blessed to be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people support me and help me along the way. There's no question. Have leaned on a lot of people for advice, and no one's ever done it alone. I can promise you that. Nobody, not even to the greatest of all time in any category. So love it, enjoying it. Just really happy to be a part of the Seminole family right now.
Yeah. So you're not getting nervous. Is there any warm-up routine? Do you go through anything like that? Have you seen the Ron Burgundy one where he's like yelling at the kids in a high-pitched voice? Have you seen that one where he's like, get the kids out
How now, brown cow. Come on. Yeah. Of course.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Absolutely. I'll do a few things, to make sure I'm good, ready to go. You kind of, everybody kind of stretches in their own way. Right. And it gets loose, some more than others. Like, Tiger Woods is stretching more than John Daly, right?
Yes.
But both, if you feel good about where you're at, you're good to go.
Yes,
so, sir. For me, preparation, one of the things that I've learned is you really have to fall in love with the work that nobody sees. And, that's something that I've learned throughout the years. And then on the broadcasting side, I have competed with myself to challenge myself to continue to dig deeper and do better, getting ready for a game. Ask another question about, why this is this way, or what's a connection between the two teams or players. How do they know each other? The history of the game, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a part of it I've fallen in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hope to have that same kind of energy, obviously, until they tell me I can't do it anymore.
Well, I think you've been doing a great job and some tough shoes to fill. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think I was feeling bad for whoever got the job after the great Gene Deckerhoff, but I think what you've said rings true, and that you're falling behind on your experience and you want to do, if anything, hit that seat honor by doing your best. And I commend you on a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Gene is a friend and a mentor. We just had lunch last Friday, and we connect and chat as much as we possibly can. And I'll bounce things off of him, get his thoughts on some things. And I enjoy just listening as everyone has for the last half century to Gene. And so I've said it many times to people, but you cannot fill the shoes of Gene Deckerhoff. You have to go put your own pair on and have fun along the way and do the job the best that you can. So that's what we're trying to do right now. And I'm enjoying and loving working with, William Barnum Floyd and Tom Block and our entire crew, Chris Culp, Andy Surratt. I mean, we got a great group of guys that love doing it, and we like doing it together. And we're going to keep doing it that way too.
Heck yeah. So you went through the pregame routine. What do you have? I know last year was such a magical season, but to go through the ending of it and to have an assignment like you did in the Don't Matter Bowl, the Orange Bowl, what was that game like? What was it like to feel that emotion that the team had? Was it different than any other game you've experienced?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was sad. It was frustrating. I think there was some anger in there from everybody,
Yeah.
The biggest thing about 2023 is that we don't remember it for that. And man, every week was just unbelievable. And I remember last summer thinking about the roster that Mike Norvell and his staff have put together. And I believe that this team could win all of them. I really did. I thought they could win every single game with the roster that we had in place. And, I knew right away we would find out a lot with LSU and Clemson in the first month.
Yep.
We won both of those games. We beat the brakes off of LSU. And, Jane Daniels ends up winning the Heisman.
Yeah.
We go into Clemson. I knew regardless of what Clemson's record was, it was going to be a huge hurdle.
Exactly.
They lost there twice in the last decade. So, if right away you knew if you get through September and you stay healthy, you're going to have a chance to do some really special things. And, sadly, the injury to Jordan changed everything.
Yeah.
It was used as an excuse by the committee to keep us out. And December was a difficult month. I can't imagine being a player on the team.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being the coaching staff and the head coach,
The part that sticks out for me is what you touched on, just saying that the fact that I did the same thing. I asked you that question instead of asking you, about a particular game during the season, which, you could see different guys step up throughout the year. And it was a special season. As someone who's lived here through all the seasons, I lived through that season. It was a special team. And I know the real fans will remember it as such. It's just a shame that the committee didn't give the team a chance for them to imprint themselves on the scene like they should have.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of the best teams, and it's only the third team in the history of this program to have 13 wins in a season. Now, obviously, you only played sometimes 11 games or 12 games in a year back in the 80s and 90s, and so there's more games to be played, but it's still saying something. And it's hard to do. It is not easy to win them all. Ask anybody. It just doesn't happen very often.
No.
And so, but to answer your question, December was tough. You knew that we were going to be extremely shorthanded. It was a completely different football team than the one that we had played with throughout the year. And I don't put any weight on that game at all. It doesn't take away any of the success had by the team that we played with during the 13 of the games of the year. And frankly, to me, I don't even to me, it doesn't even count. I know it does count, but
I'm with you.
I haven't gone back and watched it. I'll never go back and watch it.
I thought Keon Coleman said it best in his, he did a podcast with RG3 and he called it the Don't Matter Bowl. And I just thought that was, he kind of put that to bed for me as a fan. Well, Jeff, I know you have, so you come up, so you said you just do it, right? And so there wasn't any practice when touchdown Florida State, touchdown FSU. You didn't practice that? Did you? You're getting a job down in Tallahassee. What was that? Take me through that moment where you're from South Dakota. You've been doing games there. I mean, the Bisons have a great tradition. I mean, winning, but now you're about to be the voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Sure. Take me through that experience and what was that like?
Yeah, there's certainly some preparation for that. No question about it. I mean, there was practice there without a doubt. And, what's your touchdown call? What's your final call? Those were the two that I really thought long and hard about. The touchdown call needed a little bit of, a little bit of tweaking here and there.
Okay.
Really after the first game that we had, a lot of people forget the Duquesne game of 22, the week 0 game. They think the first game was LSU.
No. Yeah.
And so I'd actually tweaked my touchdown call from game 1 to game 2.
What was the first? What was it? The first
it was
one?
just the touchdown FSU, and I added the touchdown Florida State.
Oh yeah,
ahead of it. And so I listened to a lot of what Gene had done. Gene's was very, higher tempo, touchdown
Yeah.
Florida State, touchdown FSU, and that was his. So I kind of, mine was I want to do it my own way, but also do something that will connect with everybody and also honor Gene a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I just slowed down the last one.
I love
quite simply, with a little bit of, a little growl at the end on big touchdowns, So that was the initial one, and I think it's gone over pretty well. I think some people are still trying to figure out if they like it, which is fine. That's how it goes. I'm not too worried about that.
Exactly.
But,
I was just going to ask you that, being as a position where you kind of have to put yourself out there, you kind of have to just roll with it. Yeah. I mean, you have to have confidence in yourself, or are there moments where you kind of doubt yourself, or what is it? And do you have the people around you that kind of build you up? I mean, I'm sure everyone has it. What's that like for you?
No question. I mean, you see when somebody says something about you that is not nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in this social media climate that we are in, I see them. Like, I'm going to be like, how can you not see them?
Right.
And so, sure, you see them and you just move on.
Yeah.
And not everybody, nobody likes, there's not one guy where everybody likes everything that they do and announce it.
Exactly.
It's not. And then that's just how it is. And that's okay. And so, but honestly, my wife, Sarah, has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot going on. She was 8 months pregnant when the process started.
Wow.
For, getting, earning the opportunity. I was announced on a Monday to, take over for Gene. And then on Thursday, she had our second child that week in 2022. Wow. And so, we've had a lot. And yeah, there are moments where you're certainly vulnerable emotionally about, somebody saying something that kind of catches you off guard, but if you move on, whatever. Okay. But yeah, ultimately just, you go out and you have fun with it, because if you're not enjoying it, you're not having fun. Like, what's the point then? You're not doing it for the right reasons overall.
I totally agree. And, I know I started doing this show the year you started, and, I know mine was more of just, I grew up wanting to always do it. I didn't have, my dad was a painter. And so I painted houses with him, and we used to talk sports on top of the roof, and, he passed away a while back, but, had my brother had this voicemail that he kept, and I put it at the end of every show. I play this little song, and I kind of end the show on it every show, but that's kind of what this show is. I just missed it, and I wanted to talk sports, and it's a way I can connect with some of my friends. And I've had the chance to interview guys like you. I had Chris Fowler on here, Chris Cotter, and Jared, not Jared Verse, but Fabian Lovett was more than welcome. Was good enough to come on. It's been real fun, and I'm doing it just for the love of it. And you're a professional, and you do it because you love it. And just before I let you go, you're Ireland coming up. You excited about that?
No doubt. Yeah. Very excited about that. And never been overseas.
All right.
So it'll be a first for me. I'm looking forward to the experience. And, obviously we got a job to do while we're there, but I can tell you that the Seminole Sports Network radio crew has never shied away from having a good time.
All right.
So we're gonna go over there with smiles on our faces and take in the culture and have a good time in Dublin. And I know that Knowles fans are going to paint that place garnet and gold, and we're going to hear the war chant echoing all up and down, the main roads and the main pubs there. And man, I can't wait. It's going to be a special experience. I think it's going to be a great football game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Georgia Tech is going to be a tougher opponent than people think.
Oh, I totally
because of what they have coming back offensively, and I think they've also hired Tyler Santucci, who was Duke's defensive coordinator last year, as their guy, and he's a bright coach as a quote unquote young coach. I think he's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And so working some of our new guys in with DJ and some of our new pieces, I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. So looking forward to it, and excited to get over there. You know, we've been around the Aer Lingus crew, the college football Ireland crew. They've been to Tallahassee a couple of times. Let me tell you, they know how to have a good time as well. So we showed them a good time in Tally. I know they're going to show us a good time in Dublin, and we're going to try and do all the things they tell us we need to do during our short time over there.
Well, Jeff, I'm glad to hear that you grew up with the basketball background. My favorite sport listening to Gene was basketball, and actually the most time I've listened to you is during your basketball broadcast. Just there's more frequent games, and just the difference of all the sports. What stands out about basketball that you like specifically?
Yeah, just the pace. Creates the challenge of staying on top of it and describing it. I was told by a friend of mine, about 10 years ago, Brett Matlock's his name. He's the son of Derek Matlock, who was the head baseball coach at Texas Rio Grande Valley. He was a pitching coach at West Virginia while I was there. And the younger Matlock had a little bit of special needs and didn't have great eyesight. And so he always said, Jeff, you got to make sure you let everybody know how impressive the things that you're seeing are when you watch them, because that's how I know how great, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I've always remembered that. And so when you see some of these high level, Division I college basketball players, some are pros playing college, college hoops. You want to make sure you have the right energy, and when a big time dunk or a great play happens, man, you want to make sure you let everybody know how impressive it was. And so it's a fun sport to call, very frenetic pace in some games, depending on who you're calling. And I think the big challenge is, hey, how can you work in some of your preparation into the flow of a game as it's happening to educate everybody on what the game's all about? And so that's always a fun challenge for me, and that's why I love hoops as well. March Madness, man, there's nothing like it. It's an unbelievable time of year, and if we're lucky enough to be a part of it, those are times you never forget.
I hope so. It's one of the probably sports PTSD for me is that tournament getting canceled a few years back before you got here.
Yep.
Oh my God, that team was so incredible, and I still kind of think that this program's rebounding from it still. But Jeff, I'll tell you what, man. It's. Do you mind if I do the closing on you right now? We'll just what I do. I hit it, and then the music plays about 3 minutes, and then we take off. So
we had to go.
All right, we got to get on out of here. Our ride's here, but Jeff was great enough to come on the show. The NBA playoffs are going on right now, and I'm telling you what, both games were really entertaining. Indiana surprised everyone, but they blew it at the end. And then Dallas last night, Kyrie showed up again, and they were able to take down Minnesota. Have you had a chance to watch any of these NBA playoffs, Jeff?
Austin, I watched a lot of NBA playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
It's really the only time of year I watch, to be quite honest with you, but I enjoy it. And my dad is a huge Timberwolves fan from that part of the country. And so I was texting with him last night about game one. But I'm not a huge T-Wolves fan, but he is, and so I really want them to win for him. To have that moment to say that, hey, one of his favorite teams played in an NBA Finals, and he got to watch it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's another reason I'll have for rooting for the T-Wolves. We also got hockey. You a hockey fan, Jeff?
My wife and I, when we were dating, we lived in Morgantown, West Virginia, and she's a huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So we went to a lot of games while we were in that part of the country. But I have not. I'll watch every once in a while. Sean McDonough is a mentor to me.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Call hockey, and
all right. Well, Sean McDonough is one of my favorite broadcasters. In fact, he used to do, I'm sure World Series baseball back in the early 90s with him, Tim McCarver. That's my favorite intro music song, too. I guess maybe that's just nostalgia. Sure. All right. We got about a minute left here. We're going to react to both game twos coming up. We're going to have Coach FAMU offensive coordinator coming on here in the next few weeks. A lot to get to, but summer is coming in. We got the baseball and the softball. We'll react to that. We'll get Jeff on a weekly occurrence. I'm sure he has no problem coming on whenever, right?
Right.
He's going into you're going into summer break. I know you, but I just went to a 5th grade graduation today, so I just had to clear up the tears myself. So it was great talking to you, Jeff. We'll have the games and we'll react to them, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our
Wow.
Woo!